Arabia is far from being an empty, featureless arid desert land, but is in fact a uniquely diverse, challenging and fascinating mix of ecosystems and wildlife habitats. The aridity and extremes of conditions make it a very special environment as far as wildlife conservation is concerned. On top of that, the amazing rapid expansion of urban and industrial development adds a constantly growing range of pressures to what is an already stressed natural world. It is challenges such as these that first gave cause to the WWF to establish a presence in the region. Today, working under the UAE banner of the Emirates Wildlife Society, WWF is implementing conservation projects and advising regional governments and international authorities on numerous fronts.
Emirates Wildlife Society is a national environmental NGO that works in the UAE at the federal level to conserve the natural environment of the United Arab Emirates.
Wildlife trade of endangered species is among the world's top 3 illegal markets. Narcotics and arms are the other. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, was adopted in 1973 to ensure the long-term survival of species threatened by international trade and to regulate the trade.
UAE became a focal point, a transit zone for key items protected by CITES. So UAE was warned by the CITES authority, and they came back with a very swift response by establishing the Federal Law 11 of 2002, regulating wildlife trade. It is basically the legislative element that was missing so far.
Ews-Wwf commitment to education reflects the WWF's global focus.
It is quite an ingenious program. At the same time, it's simple. Through 6 beautifully designed publications, children learn about the UAE's flora, fauna and habitats.
The Ews-Wwf strongly believe that school curriculums currently cater to the needs of the market and not to any larger purpose, such as development of the child into a citizen sensitive to the nation's natural wealth. In such a scenario, children fail to comprehend linkages between human activities, consumption patterns, and the environment. Therefore, environment education should be made part of the curriculum. Dubai's Ras Al Khor Sanctuary is representative of the Emirates' rapidly disappearing natural environment. Development pressures are closing in. Construction activities are set to jeopardize the sanctuary of this wetland reserve.
If Ras Al Khor disappeared, that will have an effect on the status of the species globally.
Recently, in collaboration with the developer Sama Dubai, the Ews-Wwf created a joint research project with scientists and authorities from Dubai Municipality, the Environment Agency in Abu Dhabi, and the Dubai Wildlife Office to place satellite tags on flamingos in an effort to better understand flamingo migration and their use of this wetland as an important habitat. Satellite tagging projects such as these are essential projects that enable decision makers to assess wildlife needs and a prime example of how Ews-Wwf can support wildlife research. Another example of creating much-needed information is the Coral Reef Conservation Project sponsored by Dolphin Energy.
Dolphin Energy has a vested interest in the waters of the Arabian Gulf. This 3-year project aims to assess the existing corals that exist between the Emirate of Abu Dhabi and Qatar.
This project makes use of experts from the National Coral Reef Institute of Florida and creates an unprecedented training experience for young researchers from SENA in Qatar and the EAD in Abu Dhabi. The results of this project highlight the positive role that Ews-Wwf play in engaging business, government and NGOs to work together for a common goal. There is a great need for multilateral cooperation and regional agreements to guarantee the survival and habitats of marine turtles and coral reefs. Only a limited amount of research and conservation effort has been made in the region, and what has is not widely available to others.
The aim of this forum has been to bring together key players from the region, biologists, conservation NGOs, researchers, and government officials to share information and talk about conservation of coral reefs and marine turtles in the Gulf region.
Held in Abu Dhabi, the event was sponsored by First Gulf Bank with support from tourism development and investment company Total and Dolphin Energy. Overall, more than 80 delegates from all regional countries attended and was considered a major step forward towards sharing of information. Wadi Waraya in the Emirate of Fujairah shelters a rich diversity of rare and endangered mountainous and extremely rare freshwater habitats and species, and provides opportunities for the sustenance and revival of local livelihoods.
Wadi Waraya, in fact, is very unique in UAE because of the presence of permanent water sources, and so it means fresh water all the year round.
This project demonstrates the feasibility and benefits of protection, restoration and sustainable management of mountain freshwater ecosystems in this arid zone. It motivates partners, levers additional funding for larger scale activities, and provides lessons for policy development.
I would like to thank the project sponsors who are Al Fahim Group for sponsoring the Gulf Tree campaign, Dolphin Energy for sponsoring the Coral Reef project, Environment Agency for the CITES project, Shell and First Gulf Bank for sponsoring the Enviro Spellathon in the UAE, HSBC for the mountain protected area at the Wadi Waraya, and National Bank of Dubai for the Ras Al Khor bird viewing towers in Dubai.
By combining the right mix of government liaison, assisting regional policy through consultative cooperation, implementing long and short-term visionary scientific research, establishing important conservation projects, and creating awareness through education and media. The Ews-Wwf have brought international environmental standards to the region.